Good morning, armor bearers. I would like to talk to you a little bit about our spiritual weapons because we are talking about spiritual warfare. And one of our most powerful weapons is, besides our prayer, is our praise and our worship. And this church, at this time, this modern church, has gotten the two a little confused, a little mixed up, because I like to go to church and I love to worship God. And a lot of the times when I'm in church or the churches I have attended, um, I worship. I lift my hands and I worship. But my spirit is telling me, or my spirit leads me or drives me to get on my knees and worship. Because that is what they did in the early church. The Bible says that we must worship Him in spirit and in truth. Well, that requires our mind, our body, and our spirit. Because when we truly comprehend who God is and He fills our mind and our thoughts, and He is in our spirit, and then our body will follow. Because in the early church, they actually fell to their knees or lay prostrate before God and they worship Him, because that gives you a more intimate, personal experience with God, because He said that He inhabits the praises of His people. So if He's inhabiting the praises of His people, He is sure enough inhabiting the praises and the worship of His people. So again, worship is most powerful, because when you worship God, you're totally submitting yourself to God. You're reverencing Him. You are adoring Him, which is the reason why we were created in the first place, is to worship Him. So Abraham fell to his knees and worshiped Him. Apostle Paul, a lot of the times, almost every time when he prayed, he knelt down and worshiped Him. And in the end, God said, when every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess. But notice He said every knee shall bow. So we kneel down, we bow down when we're worshiping God, because the enemy knows, number one, you mean business. And the enemy knows, number one, number two, okay, all right, she's worshiping God. He's worshiping God. He's laying prostrate before God. I can't touch her. I have to back up. So let me just go ahead and about my business and I catch her another time. But right now, I can't deal with her, because she's doing the very thing that God created her to do, or created Him to do. He created us to worship Him. So when we are worshiping Him, we're in His presence. And when we're in the presence of God, the enemy can't touch us. And that involves your heart. It's heartfelt. Praise is good, but worship is just, on the other hand, it's a better good, because see, that's coming from your heart. When you have a heartfelt worship, a heartfelt praise, you will drop to your knees in submission. And then another thing, the Bible says, submit yourself unto God, and the devil will flee from you. But first, you have to submit. And one of the first signs of submitting to God is bowing down and worship Him. I like to lay prostrate, but bowing down is and worshiping Him is where it's at. So I want you to start this day, if you don't already do it. Start this night whenever you watch this video. I want you to bow down and worship Him, if God puts it on your heart, because I can't tell you how to do it how I do it, but I'm just saying that's how I do it. So bowing down and worshiping God puts you in that place. And I also need to remind you that He is Jehovah Shammah. He was there with you wherever you are. So not only when you're worshiping Him, He is inhabiting that, but He's there with you at all times. Yay, God. I thank you this morning. And I hope that you have a great day in the Lord. And don't forget to bow down, kneel down, and worship Him, which is your number one weapon, because you're safe always in the presence of God. Be blessed.